everyone.
Hello.
And welcome back to another episode of Two Peas Potting, our bookish podcast with a side of judgment.
A little side.
A little dare.
Little dish.
Served to you on a silver platter.
Oh, that's so fancy, though.
I know, we're getting classy up in here. So today, in honor of spooky season commencing, we are going to talk about Where He Can't Find You by Darcy Coates. This is a YA thriller?
Would it be considered thriller or horror?
It's spooky.
It's scared. Okay. I mean, I don't know if I've ever said it on the podcast or not, but like, I'm a pussy and I own that shit. I'm okay with it. I know I am. It's fine. I couldn't read this book once it got dark.
See, that wasn't a problem for me when I read this book. I sat down and read this book in a day. Yeah, it was on New Year's. This was my very first book of the year a few years ago. And I just sat down and I was like, oh, it's done? Okay. So it only slightly got dark when I was reading it. And it got dark at the spooky part.
Oh my god.
Like, the end.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. For being a young adult book, it was like rather graphic.
Yeah, it was.
Like, you know?
But yeah, I definitely feel it's the older end of YA. Just for it is very graphic in the way of like body mutilation, which
yeah
is a very intense theme for a child. But it's not a YA. YA is such like that fine.
It really is.
Of like,
I mean, A Court of Thorns and Roses is considered young adult.
I disagree with that. I'm like, it should not be in that section at all.
I agree.
Even though, like, yeah, it's not. I don't know. There aren't like a lot of like sex scenes in that one, but still, like, no. Stay innocent, please.
Even Silver Flames, I think, is considered young adult, and I'm like, that one is pretty raunch.
Pretty raunch. I mean, compared to some of the other stuff I've read since then, I don't think of it that way. But then when you put it in the context of YA, I'm like, no.
Yes, and that's what I mean is YA. It's pretty raunch, but yeah, agreed. Some of the stuff I've read, it's tame,
mild, no flavor.
Don't judge us.
Hey. But I will say, with this book, this was definitely I went to the bookstore and I didn't know what I wanted to read, and the cover got me.
Cover got you? Yeah.
Like, I wanted to read this book because of the cover.
You know, it's actually funny how I started reading this book, because you didn't even tell me to read it. It just so happened that you read it, and I got like a free sample on Goodreads of it, and I was like, like, let me see if I'll like it. And then I read the first couple pages and I was like, oh my god, like, that's really enticing. And so I couldn't get it on Kindle because it wasn't free on Kindle. And so I looked to see if my library had it, and it did. And I read it, and then I showed Sam, and she's like, I've read that book. Oh, good. I was like, oh. Yeah, so it just kind of felt nice.
I know. It's like one of those things like, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to read it again. But also, like, there's so many books that I'm like, oh, I want to read this right now. And it's a decently long book. It's like it's just shy of 400 pages. It's 395.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good book.
Also, what I think is really cool is it has little comics. Like, the book has illustrations before each part. It's broken up into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 parts. And so, like, you open the book. I wasn't expecting this because I didn't flip through it when I bought it. I just bought it.
Yeah.
Read back, and then I bought it. And, like, I was like, oh, I didn't know what I was getting myself in for. And then I was like, oh, you lost there's a creepy skeleton shadow thing, and then you're gone? And your stuff is just on the ground? What's happening?
Yeah, the comics really, like, so you already get a very good mental image in your head with the way the author writes, but the comic strips really put it into, like, life for you, you know, like, they bring it to life.
Yeah, and I liked this part with the the rules, like, rule.
Yeah.
And so this book follows a group of kids. It gave me very much like Stranger Things.
Yes, it really did.
I was like,
and it scared me too, because it also, again, hit a little close to home with the mines.
I was like, oh, this could happen in our hometown. This is why you don't go into mine shafts.
That part. Leave the mine shafts alone. So, do you want me to give a quick description?
Yeah, sure.
So, Abby Ward lives in a town haunted by disappearances. People vanish, and when they're found, their bodies have been dismembered and sewn back together in unnatural ways. That's basically the premise of the whole book. Yeah.
And so, and it seems to only happen to kids.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's more so kids than, like, adults.
Yeah. And I pictured them as, like, preteen. Like, 13.
I think they were.
Yeah.
Or, like, freshmen in high school.
Yeah,
I know
younger.
Abby's little sister, Hope, I think she was definitely, like, 13-ish, around there. Yeah.
Of the group. But these group of teenagers, they live in this spooky ass town, which wasn't spooky, and it just like became spooky.
Yeah.
At some point. And they have developed a set of rules that the whole friend group, and they warn all like any new kid that moves to town about these rules. And it's like, don't go out after dark because he'll find you and tear you apart and sew you back together.
Yeah. And so the story and how the book is so gripping at first that comic strip that Sam just showed you, and then the story is opening up with this, like, honestly disturbing mental image of a girl named January crawling through like a tunnel or something, like a cave of some sort, and she's trying to escape this creature that's like trying to kill her, and he's known as the Stitcher. And despite January trying her best to escape, she doesn't. She gets dragged back down through the tunnel, and obviously she dies. And so that's like the beginning of the book, and you're just like, holy crap.
Like, what did I get myself into?
That's totally how I felt. I was like, well, I'm committed now because you got my attention. And oh god, it's just gross. It was such a gross image.
See, and when like they talked about, like, I don't know why, and when they talked about like the tunnels, I didn't think about like a tunnel you could walk through. I was like, no, they're like crawling through this hole.
Yes.
Like, it's like a badger hole. Like, only your body can fit through it, and you're like clawing your way out of this.
That's exactly how I pictured it too. And so this whole book, basically, the main plot or the main characters, it follows a girl named Abby Ward, and the town's name is Doubtful, by the way. I just found the notes of that. Oh, yeah. And the town is plagued by reoccurring abductions and the return of bodies stitched together in very unnatural and horrific ways. Like, the mental images this book gives you about how these body parts are sewn together is so disturbing. It's still sticking with me today.
And, like, I think what drew me into this book is because, like, it definitely goes to, like, serial killer. And you're like...
For sure.
What sick motherfucker? I mean, I know there's people out there. Like, obviously, we have a long repertoire of fucked up serial killers. But I was like, what the fuck? Who is sewing up bodies? Taking them apart?
Yeah, and what's even, so, based on the cover, you see a bunch of, like, red lines. Yeah, right there. See all the redness right there? So the Stitcher uses red, like, yarn-like substance, thread. It's, like, not quite thread, but not quite yarn. It's, like, somewhere in between is how they describe it. It's, like, because it's not as thin as thread, but it's also not as thick as yarn. Yeah, it's like a string almost.
Also, why would the local store continue to sell this fucking red thread?
Right? Like, it's a special order, and they continue to... I always wondered that, too. Like, it made no sense.
Yeah. Well, that also, like, made me suspicious. So, the book follows Abby's friend group, and they've always, not even, like, the kids, like, the town has always been suspicious of this one man, and I can't remember his name.
Give me one moment, I can find it, probably.
But he's a creepy old man. Well, not old.
Charles Vickers.
Creepy man. Oh, well, that's one of their rules. Stay away from him. Because they are convinced that Homeboy is the Stitcher. And also, like, he did not do himself any favors. Like, throughout the book, you're convinced it's him, too, because he's like, the kids are like, oh my gosh, it's him, and he's like, haha, like, look, I'm buying red thread. The cops ain't doing shit. Yeah. And you're like...
He taunts everybody about it, and he talks to the cops. He's always there at the scene of the crime.
He's always the first one.
But the cops don't do shit about it.
Yeah. Well, and come to find out, there's no evidence.
Yeah, there's no hard proof
linking him to the murders.
I feel like the thread should have been enough. But, that's just me.
That's just a coincidence.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But as Sam said, so, it's Abby and her group of friends, and their names are Rhea, and Connor, and they call themselves the Jackrabbits, and they follow all those rules that, you see in the comic strips that Sam has been showing.
Yeah, and so these are the rules. They have 4, I think. Just 4?
I think so.
So the first rule is to stay indoors after night or you'll be taken. Rule number 2, red thread means a stitcher victim is close by. And it's weird because this is where the book kind of got you thought it was just a serial killer. But then there's weird paranormal things that happen.
Yeah.
The clocks would wind back, your windows would crack open, signs would fall, car motors would stall, and then the red thread would show up.
Yeah. And that's also really interesting about the cars. Pretty much no one in this town drove cars because of all the issues they had, because no mechanic could fix it because there was nothing wrong with the car.
Yeah. They would just stop working.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Yeah, and phones would stop working, technology wouldn't work, nothing worked around the time when the stitcher would come back around.
And I would fucking move away.
Right? Why aren't these people leaving this town? That's what I want. It should have been abandoned.
Yeah, it should have been a ghost town.
Mm-hmm.
Rule number 3, stay away from this motherfucker.
He just looks, he looks like a Charles Vickers,
He reminds me of, if they were to make this into a movie, the guy, I don't remember his name, but did you ever watch The Lovely Bones?
Stanley Tucci?
That guy. Because he played such a good villain for him, and he fits this. It's the same character.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, you just blew my mind. Yeah.
And he gives me the very 70s outfit vibe. Creep man.
But it's not based in the 70s. That's the funniest part.
No, it's now.
Yeah, because they talk about smartphones and all that, and Abby's little sister Hope is not TikTok star, but YouTube type of videos.
Yeah.
Making
her videos. And then their last and final rule: keep your house locked up tight, or the stitcher will come for you. So you hide, you stay inside, you block your windows, you lock all your doors, and then sometimes they can hear his footsteps outside.
Mm-hmm. And there's tiny rules that go along with the main rules, and that's no walking alone at night, always share your locations with people, and make sure your listening ears are on all the time just in case you hear noises out in the woods or something, because
also why
you never know where the stitch is.
That was I understand wanting to live and have a normal life, but they're okay, we have to follow all of these rules, guys. Hey, let's meet up and have a bonfire in the woods at nighttime.
But I think their thought process was, they're teenagers for starters. Also, they're we're together, so as long as we're together, the odds are better.
Yeah.
Which I understand, but you live by these set of rules where you don't leave your house after dark, but yet you're always leaving your house after dark.
And I'm sorry, someone is always gonna have to walk alone to get home.
No matter what, yeah. I think it's normally Reese or Abby that walk home alone, too.
Well, a lot of the times with Abby, she technically does it because she has her sister.
That's true.
And, this book. So, they're, it starts off with the murder. And so instantly you're alright, guy, Charles, public enemy, numero uno. You are the serial killer, and why aren't these adults? And was the weird thing, is even the adults in the town were wary of him. They also believed he did it, but there was no physical evidence connecting him.
No,
it was just all coincidental that he had the red thread, or he was the first one at the scene of the crime every time. They had done searches on his house and hadn't found anything. And this town honestly terrorized this man.
They really did, but he was always in an oddly pleasant mood.
He's like, oh, it's fine.
What's creepy is he knew everybody's name, including the children, and he would address them by their full name. Like, he would see Abby, he's like, hello, Abby Ward. It was like, excuse me, don't use my name ever, and don't use my last name.
Yeah. Very, like intentionally made himself creepier.
Yes.
He's like, well, if I'm gonna be the villain, I'm gonna be the villain.
Literally. But now that you put the Stanley Tucci Lovely Bones character in my head, now that's all I can see, and I want him to play him in this movie now, because Stanley Tucci is a chameleon and he can do anything.
Right? Like, that was the moment they showed, like, they described him, and that's, like, where I was kind of going, and the moment they showed that picture, I'm like, oh, it's the guy! It's that guy!
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't put that 2 and 2 together, but yeah, he looks just like the Lovely Bones guy, too. Like, crazy. And then, okay, so, this group of friends lives by those rules, right? And then shortly into the book, you hear of this new girl moving into town with her police officer father, and she meets these people at school, and they're telling her everything about the town. She thinks she's being roasted or like hazed or something, so she just thinks it's a bunch of baloney, and is like, okay, yeah, you guys are just like pulling my leg. I thought I was just trying to make friends with you guys, and you're being mean. And they're
being
like,
fucking
no,
assholes. And they're like, no, we're being dead ass, girl.
Yeah, she was like, okay, yeah, fuck you, bye, I'm out.
I mean, in her defense, I would be like, why are you being fucking assholes, you psychos? Like, I would not believe it either.
No, yeah, especially, like, it was her first day in this new town, her first day at school.
I mean, they were being really good people, like, warning her.
They were.
On their side, they were being, like, really good people, like, we got you, girl, we're gonna look out for you, and she's just like, quit fucking with me.
Why are you pulling my leg like this? This is an odd joke.
This isn't even funny.
Yeah. But then when all of the strange events start happening, Jen realizes that, okay, maybe these people aren't lying to me. And so one night when said kids are at the bonfire outside of the fucking woods, she like finds them and she scares the crap out of them because they think like it's the Stitcher coming. Yeah. She's just like, it's just me. And then they're like, oh, hey, what are you doing? And then like they start talking and they learn about each other. And Abby and Hope unfortunately don't have the best home life. They're not that they're abused per se, but their mom is mentally unstable.
It is neglect.
She's obsessed with digging holes, and what doesn't help is their father went missing by said Stitcher years ago. And they well, there's no proof that he went missing from the Stitcher, but it kind of just it lines up. Because when people go missing in this town, they never come back, and they're usually found. Well, they're not usually found, but usually they assume that they're dead because they never return.
Yeah, and like it's weird though, because I feel like the only ones that were like stitched back together were like the younger.
Yeah. It was
one thing to note: when they're stitched together, there's always one body part missing.
Yep. And
it's different every time.
They can never really find out who the body parts belong to either. Because it's just and
they're
like unfortunately
back together basically.
Yes.
With different parts.
Yeah. And Hope is one of the main characters of the story too. But she's showing signs of being like physically connected to the Stitcher because she draws like creepy accurate pictures and like she can predict real events happening and like she speaks like warnings in a way. She's like a seer almost. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. And their home life, oh my gosh. Their mom, like, she creeped me out, I think, more than sometimes the Stitcher scenes did. Because because like we said, when the Stitcher like comes for the hunt, weird like paranormal things start happening. Like your TVs and your electronics don't work, your car stop working. But their mom would also like start behaving like erratically. Mm-hmm. And that's when she would start digging the holes. Like she'd be fine, and then like Stitcher events would happen and she would like go crazy and like not talk, and like Abby had to like help Hope, and like they just had to like leave her alone and like leave her in her bedroom and lock themselves in their bedrooms because she would be like so erratic and like crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And it's weird too because like they can't really determine when the Stitcher is gonna attack or who he's gonna attack. But a weird sign is like if you see like strings close by, that means he's probably coming to you.
Okay, I hate it. Yeah, this is a really good
So
Halloween book, guys.
it's a really good Halloween book. It's so spooky and like the once Abby's sister Hope gets taken, you know, her and her friends are frantically convinced they're gonna find her. And like they go to the cops don't do anything. And so they take it upon themselves to break into Charles Vickers' home.
Well, before they did that, they were like, okay, he took her. I know he took
Oh
her.
yeah, they're
And he would taunt it too.
yeah. He would like almost kind of admit that he took her in a way, you know? Like he would admit it without admitting it. He was like he danced around it.
And so I think really Abby and Reese were like the closest in the group because
Oh yeah.
Abby could get Reese to do anything.
Anything.
And
Anything.
so they're like, yeah, let's do a stakeout because nobody wanted. This was also super creepy. So nobody wanted to live next to Charles, who they
No.
believed was the Stitcher. So how I kind of imagined, like how the author made me picture it was like almost a cul-de-sac, and his house was at like the end of the cul-de-sac, and no other house had living occupants in them. Everyone had just like up and fucking left
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
neighborhood because they did not want to live near this guy. And because I don't remember, I think Charles put the stuff on his fence, right?
So they were offerings on his fence. So the townspeople thought if they would bring offerings, like in these pictures that you're seeing right now, if they brought offerings, that he would not take their loved ones, not harm their family. But what kind of also like didn't really work about that whole theory is like you didn't know who they were from. They didn't put like who it was from. They just like attached it to his fence and it just stayed there. And so, you know, it obviously that didn't work. That's not how it worked, but you know, people like to be delusional and believe that.
Yeah. So that also added a level of like creepiness to him.
Yeah.
And so because all the houses in that neighborhood were abandoned, they're like, all right, let's do a stakeout and like watch him all night to see when he leaves because maybe we'll see him leave with Hope.
Yeah, and that was Connor and Raya, right?
I don't.
Because they broke off into like pairs.
Yeah, they broke up
And it
into
was like
teams.
Abby and yeah, and I think it was Connor and Raya. They went into this abandoned old house, but then Raya had to go home, so Connor had to stay there alone. Which again, breaking their own rules.
Yeah. Also, like it's just this book just added a level of spooky. Thankfully, nothing happened to them
Yes.
while they were
Yes.
like doing the stakeout. But the next day, they're like, okay, we gotta leave before like he comes out, so he doesn't know like we were following him. And then he sees the kids, and he's like, oh, so how was your stay at the house next door? And you're like, how did you know? Fucking creep. And it like as the book progresses, like Abby gets more and more like frantic about finding her sister. Rightfully so, because
Yeah.
she's the only person in the household that cares because her mom is like off the fucking deep end. She goes home one day and she's like, Mom, like Hope is missing. And like her mom goes feral.
Basically, like kind of sort of almost attacks Hope.
Yes. And she has to like lock her mom in
Or not Hope, Abby.
Abby.
Yeah.
And she has to lock her mom in like her mom's bedroom.
Yeah. And wasn't there like isn't there scratch marks on the door from the mom like scratching at the door? Yeah. And her fingers are always like caked in dirt because she's always digging holes. She's always
Yeah, she's
scratching
not
like a
digging
freaking
like with a shovel. Like she's like
yeah.
digging.
She's literally like
holes.
yeah, digging with her hands like a literally like a lunatic, you know? And like I mean, as we said, her mother's mentally ill, mentally unstable, like all the things. And so okay, not only did it give me like Stranger Things vibes, it gave me It vibes.
Yes.
Like something fierce.
Yes. And I think like another like creepy thing was it was like a few days after Hope had disappeared and like Abby was feeling like sad because she's alone basically now.
Yeah.
And
Her sister was her
she was
best friend.
going through Abby's videos. Oh, I got goosebumps. And she's like watching Abby's videos, and they're in her room, and like her window's behind her, and you could
Hope's
see
videos.
someone in like looking at her through the window, and you're like, ah, it's the guy.
Yeah, because like Hope was like a little dancer. She did little dance videos or certain stuff like that. And then, Abby missing her, that's when she went those videos. And I just pictured that and I was like, oh my God. Like I got chills when I read that.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, the hair on your neck standing up, like,
Literally. Like my body, I remember my body got covered in goosebumps. I was like, that is creepy. So Abby's house was being watched, but not only her house, it was her sister that was being targeted.
Yeah. And, oh gosh. And so, in the kids' research into trying to find Hope, there is one girl who had got away from the Stitcher and survived.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name.
Bridget, right?
Yes. And they're like, let's go talk to her. Because if she knows, like, where he's at.
You just give me goosebumps talking about it because I just relived it.
If we could go talk to her, like, and she knows where he's at, like, let's go. And after Hope went missing, that's when the new girl, I can't remember her name, with the cop dad.
Jen. Yeah.
Was like, okay, maybe you guys are right. Like, I'll join you in the fight because my dad's been talking about it and all the creepy, weird shit too. And he's like, yeah, maybe you should follow those rules that those kids gave you.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Something is amiss here.
Literally. It's like, okay, yeah, I understand now.
So, also, you know what? That is the one thing. MVP Dad of the Year goes to her dad because he was like, something's going on, and we're not gonna ignore it because this is fucking weird. Like, I believe you, children, which never happened.
Okay. Not only does he deserve like Dad of the Year, he deserves like Dad of the freaking Decade award because as soon as weird stuff starts happening, he's like, "All right, I'm gonna see if we can get transferred back to like where we used to be because this ain't it for me.
Your safety ain't worth it." I'm like, yeah, good for having a brain.
Being smart. Oh my God, yeah.
And so they're like, okay, let's go talk to Bridget. And also, like, I want to know how they found. I mean, I'm assuming they just found out where she lived because it's like a small town, and
I think so.
And it's not.
It was either that or Jen asked her dad.
Oh yeah. And
can't fully remember.
So they go over to meet Bridget, and this house looks creepy. Like, it just looks. There's like things hanging, like wind chimes, but they're not like real wind chimes. They're like homemade. So very witchy, creepy vibes. And you're like,
yes,
are you okay? Obviously not. But and the first time they go to talk to her, she's like, just don't, like, she's gone. Your sister's gone. Like,
yeah.
Forget about her. Worry about yourself.
Yeah.
You survived.
She literally, was telling her to forget about her, and then she tells her story, and then they're like, how did you like get away like unscathed basically? And then so she's sitting down when she's telling the story, and then she's like, oh, you think I got away unscathed, huh? And then she pulls off her blanket, and like, aren't both legs missing?
I think it's just one.
Just one. Yeah. And she said there was only one person who believed her when they ended up finding her, and it was an old retired cop.
Also, like, how could you not believe her? She's missing a fucking leg. Hi, Bailey.
Yeah. And she lives with her sister, and her sister also have all these animals that have abnormalities, essentially. Yeah. And she said all these animals were born around like a Stitcher attack, and everything that's born around a Stitcher attack comes out weird, which brings you back to that supernatural thing. And you're like, you literally can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there like literally scratching my head. I was like, how? Thinking in my mind, I'm like, Vickers must be like a vampire or some sort. Like, you know? Like, there's...
Yeah, that's where it started. Because at the beginning, like, I feel like the first half of the book has you convinced it's like just typical serial killer, and then you just start getting like this weird paranormal shit, and you're like, aliens? Like,
literally, like you're trying to come out with like any sort of answer, and that's why it gave me like It vibes, because It is of the supernatural.
Yeah.
And so it's like Huh.
And so Bridget tells her story and is basically like, no. But then, like, so the first time she tells it, it's very vague. And
Very
then
vague.
they leave, and like days go by, and Abby is just, can you sit down? Thank you. And Abby is like irate at this point. She's like, nobody is taking this seriously. Someone find my fucking sister. And so she goes back to Bridget's house. She's like, all right, bitch.
Like, just tell me the full story so
You're
I know what I'm up
gonna
against.
tell me what I want to fucking know.
Which is fair. I would be getting mad too.
Yeah, because that's the one person who knows where he keeps his victims. No,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like the other crazy thing is like, how did the police not?
Well, okay, so they did handle it in their terms, and by handling it, they blew up every entrance to the mines, or so they thought they did. But they don't know how the Stitcher is still getting out of the mines of where he's allegedly living.
And that's the crazy thing. Like,
And
I'm sorry, wouldn't y'all have gone and explored that?
right? And like followed tunnels or anything. They were probably too afraid, which I mean that makes sense. And so like Bridget tells her full story and everything, and she's still telling her not to go after her sister. Like she's just like, you just forget about
Gone.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably gone. She's dead at this point. And so Abby's pissed again. She's like, I'm not gonna just let my sister die or like whatever is gonna happen. And her homie Rhea, who's the real MVP, she's been at the libraries studying everything about the town. She knows all like the mining tunnels, all that. And then she found out about the cop that believed Bridget. She found out where he lived, and he had like one of the only houses that had like a kind of like an upstairs thing where his window could see the entirety of Doubtful. So this town is like stupid small basically. And he had like, I think there was like a light or something, and this cop, retired cop, was actually like surveying everybody all the time. And they thought it was a creepy old man, and so they knock on the door and he's just like, oh hey, like come in. He's just this normal old guy. And he was like, basically he confirmed that yes, Charles Vickers does have something to do with it, but he's not the killer. And they're like, how is he not the killer? And he gives a whole history of the town. And so back, I forget what time period it was supposed to be, but like back when the mines were running and it was like an old mining town, there
So the
was
early
like a,
1900s.
yeah, there was like a giant explosion basically in the mines, and it killed a bunch of people. And there was one man in particular, I'm forgetting his name, um, who was found dead. And I think when they brought his body, it was like all flat, basically. And the wife was distraught, obviously, because her husband died. But his mother was like, I want the body. And the people were like, why do you want the body? She's like, just give me the body. Like, it's my son. I want the body. And so they're like, okay.
Which wasn't weird, like odd back then, because a lot of
Yeah.
families would bury them on their like property in their own.
Yeah.
Like
And
big cemeteries weren't like a thing. Like you just buried them on your plot of land.
yeah. And oh, I'm sorry. He wasn't just flattened. He was all dismembered. His
Yeah.
body parts were all dismembered.
So they
And
didn't
she
really
took the
know
body.
what body parts were his.
Yeah. And so this crazy old lady mother decides to take it upon herself, and she spreads his body parts on their like dining room table in the house, and she's sewing him back together. And like she gives him, so his eyes are missing, and she gives him like these lights for eyes is what it sounds
Yeah,
like, because his
it
eyes
reminded
glow
me of
yellow.
like, so like old miners, they wore the helmets with the headlamps, and
Yeah, okay,
it
yeah.
was the lamp part, the glass from the light for the headlamp.
Yeah. And so she sews him together, and she digs a tunnel from her house into the mines to like hide him, essentially, have him like live down there. And then basically that's how the lore starts, is like he, every time a body part would go bad, because it's a body part
And
and it's
he's
not
dead.
living, so it's gonna start rotting, he would go out and kill people and take their body parts. And thus the story of the Stitcher was born. And this is where Jen again is like, really? Still kind of like not believing it, but she's like, I'm in this far though, so I guess I gotta believe it.
We help regardless.
Yeah, and it's creepy because like the family would essentially keep him living through decades and decades type of deal, and there's a tunnel in a house is what we find out. And do you know whose house that is?
This fucking motherfucker.
Charles Vickers,
Charles,
who is an ancestor of sorts of this Stitcher man.
Of this family.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like, oh. So like, yes, Charles Vickers is part of the problem, but he's not necessarily.
But he doesn't get a choice. It's a eat or
like,
be eaten situation.
Yeah. And there's a scene in the book of when Connor is at the house across from or right next to Charles Vickers, where Charles Vickers goes outside and he's like beating up a tree, like letting anger out of some sort. And then he composes himself and walks back in. And so it's like, obviously it's not doing anything well for his mental state either, you know? He's like forced to feed this monster and like keep sewing him together. It's all.
And it wasn't the whole group that goes and talks to the old man, right? Because Abby didn't know about the monster.
Yeah, it wasn't the whole group. I think it was
just Connor and Rhea.
Rhea, Connor, and Jen was there too.
And Jen. And Reese and Abby were together. And Abby at this point was like, I'm fucking done. And she barges her ass into Charles's home.
Yeah, dude. I thought they were goners at this point.
Because he locks the door.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was terrifying.
And she like just barges in, she's like, where the fuck is my sister? And I was like, well, I mean, props to you, but like you just put yourself in a fucking situation.
Yeah, even Reese was trying to talk her out of it. She's like, no, I'm fucking done.
I mean, I get it. Like, once you get into like that state, there's no
amount of like
there's no logical thinking. Like, your prefrontal cortex is done. Like, you're not.
Oh yeah.
Nope. You're not.
She saw red. She saw my hair color is what she saw. Yeah.
She's like, I'm fucking finding my sister. You aren't touching her.
Which is fair. Like, I would probably do the same thing
at that point because it had been a while.
Yeah, she's been gone for a while, but like Abby didn't believe that Hope was dead.
Yeah, well, and like there was no red thread, so they knew she wasn't.
Yeah, there was no red thread. Yeah, there was no more attacks. Yeah, so it was like.
So they're like, we have to find her before the thread becomes a thing.
And luckily, after Abby charges in there, you know, Charles Vickers is trying to attack her, but then here comes Reese. He's attacking Charles Vickers, and he ends up getting stabbed a few times, I think, by Charles Vickers.
Yeah.
I think, because he's like bleeding. Yeah, and then Charles Vickers called the cops and was like, hey, these kids are in my house.
Attacked me, and they're in my house, but I locked them in.
Yeah. And so Abby's found by a cop, and like her and Reese are like sitting in the back of the car or something, and they're like, all right, you guys need to leave him alone. And then Abby's like, no, he took my sister. Like, you guys aren't doing shit, so I gotta do it. And so, you know, they basically, the cops tell Abby that she has to stay like a certain amount of feet away from Charles Vickers.
Basically a restraining order.
Yeah. And so she's like, fucking fine. And then after that is when they meet up with like Rhea, Connor, and Jen, and they like kind of they tell her everything that's going on, and Rhea's like, I have maps of like all the tunnels, and Abby's like, okay, I'm going in there, and they're like, you can't. She's like, I don't fucking care what you say. I can't do. I'm gonna go down there.
So they find this tunnel in the woods.
Yeah. And so Reese, because Bridget also told them about that opening, and they went to go find it, and Reese ended up going with her. And so thus began the adventure of Reese and Abby going into these mine tunnels.
Didn't they go down the one in his house?
No, because at that point I don't think they found it yet.
Okay. And so they go.
Reese, or Abby and Reese couldn't find it. I think Rhea and Connor end up finding it afterwards.
Yeah, it gets real intense.
It gets so intense to where like you can't put the book down.
Yeah, once they like the tunnels, like once they get in there, I think that's the last like 80 pages of the book. And yeah, it's just like intense. So Reese,
like bam, 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 bam.
So they had like gone over. They're like, okay, this is where a tunnel is. This is where a tunnel is. This is what like a brief overview of what like the mine shafts, like the mines and like the tunnels and everything lead. So then they don't get completely like lost.
Yeah. Oh, also something to note that I forgot to say that's really important. Every person that got taken by the Stitcher, you don't hear them go. They go like silently, essentially. And we find out after we find out about the eyes, you can't look into his eyes.
Yeah, into his flashlight eyes.
Yeah. And so like Abby and Reese, they're starting like this really tiny freaking, like you said, like a tunnel where you're literally army crawling through, and then they somehow get into like the one of the main mine tunnels where you can stand up, but like it's isn't it like filled with like sludge and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, and then Abby sees something on the ground, and it's something that she recognized, and it was like a piece of of like her dad's coat of something, and she was like, oh, like finally confirmed that her dad truly is dead, essentially.
Yeah, he didn't just like leave.
And yeah, he didn't just leave, which is what everybody kind of made them think, you know?
Yeah, he left because your mom's
And
crazy.
which she didn't get crazy until after that. And so there was that whole thing. And then I think they end up like they find the Stitcher's lair,
Yeah,
essentially, where
it
he like sews. Oh,
everybody together.
it's
Because like
gross.
it sounds like he almost lives as like a normal person. Like I imagine it just like a dingy, creepy. Have you ever watched Silence of the Lambs?
No.
Oh, well, Buffalo Bill, he has like the basement and then it has like the well and like that's what like how I picture it down.
Okay, I mean, I know that I know that general scene, so like yes, I kind of pictured that as well too. Oh, and it was gross, so gross. And then like the Stitcher is behind them, silently moving, and he like starts going after. Isn't it Reese? He goes
Uh-huh.
after. Yeah, it's Reese he goes after, and Reese isn't fighting. And Abby's like, "What are you doing, Reese? Like, fight him!" And then you hear like kind of almost like a screaming in the distance, and she's like, "Who the fuck was that?" And then there's people down there who are still alive, and they're like, please help me," and like they're just kind of slowly dying and bleeding out, essentially.
Yeah, because they're
And
missing a limb.
yeah, and then or limbs, we don't really know. And so then um she keeps hearing it again, and she recognizes the voice, and she hears Hope, and she's like, "Hope, you're still alive, you're here." And then Hope just comes fucking running, and she like throws like a piece of wood is what I think she had. She throws it at the station, and she's like, "Don't look in his eyes." And like meanwhile he was like cutting into Reese,
Yeah.
and Reese was just kind of letting it happen because he was looking into the eyes. He didn't know.
Yeah.
Because at this point, they didn't really know anything about the Stitcher. Because Abby, like, she heard the tunnels and she's like, "Okay, let's go."
Yeah, she's like,
Like,
well, locked in. I'm gonna.
yep, let's go. And so she finds Hope almost intact.
Yeah. Hope kind of just turned into a badass. She's like, fight or flight, I'm fighting.
Mm-hmm. So Hope was missing an arm, and yeah, so she was like, once he kind of like took the arm, I bolted and didn't see him really again. She was just trying to find her way out, and then once she gets him distracted, he like runs away after he gets hit. Like he's not really a fighter.
Well, with your body sewn together, you really can't.
I know. I imagine he's just like all floppy. Like I feel like he's not as put together as Frankenstein is, you know,
Yeah.
or Frankenstein's monster. So yeah, he's like all floppy and I'm sorry, the image that I create in my head is just so
Yeah. Well, and I feel like he's very slow too. Because you have nothing.
yeah,
Like, if you're sewn together, like, if you take, like, here down, like, you don't have that elbow joint and all those tendons, like, holding you together. It's just
yeah, just
there.
floppy. Oh, it's like a zombie, you know?
Yeah.
And because I mean that's essentially what he is. He's like a walking zombie.
Pretty much. A
Yeah,
reassembled.
and ugh, it's so gross. So then like they're like, okay, noted. Don't look into the eyes because it paralyzes you. You can't do anything when you look into his
Yeah, you get,
eyes.
like, put
It's
in a
like
trance.
yeah, like he like hypnotizes you in some sort of way. Yeah, it was wild. And then that's when they're trying to find their way out of the tunnels because the Stitcher is essentially not really chasing after them anymore. And they're like concerned about that, but they just can't hear him because he moves so slow and like silently, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
because he
stealthy. And
obviously
their
can't talk or
flashlights
anything.
don't work because he
Yeah,
fucks with the stuff. So, like, you have to use fire. And that's what Hope had found out is he doesn't like fire. It scares him.
Frankenstein's
Very much like,
monster.
yeah,
Yeah,
like Frankenstein monster. And so while Reese and Abby went like fucking balls deep in the tunnel. They're like, okay, like there's 2 entrances, one in the forest and one in Charles's house. So they're like, we gotta cover both tunnels. Like we gotta make sure we can get them both out. So Jen stays at the one in the forest. Also, fucked up that she got left by herself.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked, but she was okay with it because she told her dad about it.
Yeah. She's like, Dad, we're doing this.
Yeah. And he was like, okay, I'll do my best to try to get, like, he was going to get people stationed outside of Charles Vickers' home. They were kind of going to, like, ambush him, essentially. Because this parent actually believed his child.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Then Raya and Connor were like back to staking Charles's house because they didn't have a restraining order.
Chapstick buddies.
Yeah, the best kind. Carmack sponsor us this episode.
Yeah, I've been using it for years.
Oh,
sorry, that was a random sidebar.
Okay, and so Ryan and Connor are like watching Charles's house, and don't Abby and Hope and Reese, they go up the ladder through the tunnel into
that's Charles's the tunnel they end up finding.
That tunnel, but then he locks them in because he's like, you can't leave, like he needs you. And so like they get into like a physical fight with Charles because they're like, what is
like, what do you mean? He already took Hope's arm. Like, he has enough.
And he, like, Charles is terrified at this point because I don't think Charles had ever seen.
No, I don't think he ever saw him. He just, like, he would just basically, like, throw the thread down kind of thing.
Yeah, he'd throw it down the hole. He'd be like, use your stuff.
Yeah.
Put the lotions on the skin. Like,
yeah, he would stitch himself up, which is wild that he was even capable of doing that. Had to be ambidextrous for sure.
Well, he got to choose what hands he had, so he could just do 2 right ones. So like Charles was like living in fear because he's like, if I don't throw this shit down the hole, you're gonna come after me.
Because even though Charles is like related to some way in this guy, like this guy, the Stitcher's an ancestor to Charles, the Stitcher doesn't know that. You're just flesh to him. He don't care who he kills. He'll kill you no matter what. Like, I think the only person he didn't ever lay harm to was his mother.
Yes, because she was his creator.
Yeah.
In both ways.
And so like Charles is panicking, and then don't they like finally somehow overpower Charles, and then the Stitcher comes up and like attacks Charles.
Yeah.
And like takes him down there.
Drags
and then the cops come and the cops come and they see the tunnel and they're like, holy shit. Like, so this is how he's been getting in and out, basically. And we're like, yeah.
And then they were like, okay, we're safe. Like, let's get out of this house. And then Hope's like, no, like, we gotta kill this motherfucker. Like, we can't just leave him, or like, it's gonna happen again and
like,
again.
You gotta cut off every like entrance he could possibly have so that he finally dies once and for all, because he's just gonna keep coming, because like he knows about this hole, he knows about the other one too. I think I don't think he can fit through that one.
He can, it's slow.
Oh, okay. And so don't they like demolish the house or something?
Yeah, they demolish the house. They're like, okay, we're gonna destroy this tunnel and find our way back out the other one. And so then it turns into a cat and mouse game in the tunnels against the Stitcher. Because he's not, like, dumb. Like, he can, like, figure out their plan. And they realize, like, oh, shit. Like, they've destroyed... Don't they, like, catch his house on fire, Charles's house on fire?
Yeah, something like that.
And then they go down the tunnel.
Like that. Yeah, they do that. Go down the tunnel. They make sure the house gets, like, demolished, and like you can't come out of that hole anymore. And then that's when they start over. And
so then they're trying to like maneuver their way through the tunnels, and thankfully, like, since Hope had been down there so long, she had learned the tunnels pretty well. But he of course knows them better.
Way better. And what also helped, this is where Jen was the real MVP, is she would like shout in the hole because she was hearing a ruckus, basically. And she's like, this way. Reese. Yeah, and then they hear and they follow. And then I think that's when you also kind of hear Charles getting attacked. And so they're like, oh, okay, whatever.
But because of her yelling down the tunnel, the Stitcher's like, ugh.
Yeah, it got his attention. He was like, what was that?
And so it's basically a race to the tunnel. And so like they're running and they're getting away from him and like they all get out of the hole, but they're not the only ones coming up through.
Yeah.
It's so creepy.
It's so creepy. I don't like it.
And so they're like fighting to get out of the hole, and the Stitcher's like coming after them. And does he get out? I think he gets out.
I think he gets out, but then he gets like chased back into the hole
with fire.
Yeah, because they find out about the fire, and then he runs back down there.
And then they catch him ablaze. They set him ablaze.
Yeah, they set him on fire. And they don't know if it killed him, but then like the cops come and they show them where the hole is, and the cops like they do what they did to the other openings and like blow up basically the tunnel. And then, Hope gets taken to the hospital because
no more.
She's just got basically fabric holding herself together. Or not herself, but closing the wound of some sort.
The infection.
Oh, mad infection. Jesus. And yeah, and then like after a few months, the town of Doubtful starts being normal. The town it was back in the heyday, like when it was normal. There had been no Stitcher sightings, no signs of Red Thread. They were starting to like recover all the body parts. Finally. And there was like no sign of Charles Vickers, but Hope came back alive. So it was a happy ending. And then Reese and Abby were like a couple after that. Because who knew chasing a monster would be so romantic?
Hey, you know what? It is what it is. But yeah, so it was all of them in the tunnels. Because it was Raya Connor. So they all were fighting.
They all ended up going down in the tunnels. But yeah, it was oh man, it was a good book.
It was really good. It was really good. And her mom, like after like the Stitcher was gone, her mom started to slowly like
get better,
become normal-ish. Like she was like so like mentally unstable to the point like she didn't even recognize her own name. So she started like recognizing her name and like slowly getting back.
Yeah, she started to become like herself again almost.
But yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, it was. I rated it a 5, I believe. Let me double check though. I gave it a 5-star rating.
Let's see what I did. I think I also gave it a 5-star because that was like. Oh wait, here I can look in I have my reading journal from that year. Like so good. Oh, I gave it 4. I think I didn't give it a full 5. But I think if I were to go back, like just from us talking about it, go back and read it again, I think I would rate it a 5 because like us talking about it made me want to read it again.
Yeah, it was a good book. It was my very first horror book, and I'm gonna just be frank, probably my last.
Yeah, I have found out that it's a YA horror / thriller, actually.
Okay, yeah. Reading this book, I learned that I am not a horror book person, much like I am not a horror movie person. So
you like the suspense more than the horror.
Yes, I like suspense. I like when I'm on the edge of my seat, but like that's it. That's as far as I like to be.
Yeah.
To where it's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And then it happens, and you're like, oh, okay. I like the ride, but I mean, at least with the thrillers that I read, nothing graphic like that happens.
That's true. It's not as spooky. It's just crazy people.
Yes.
Crazy people. The only thing... I remember why I rated this a 4. I remember why. I wish there was more background on the Stitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, you heard the story, but it didn't, like, how... Because, like, what I imagined was his mom was, like, a witch.
Yeah. It didn't go into detail about how he could still be, like, essentially a living creature.
Yeah.
Just how he was essentially
alive! You're like, okay, but how?
Yeah, because he wasn't, like, brought back with anything like Frankenstein did with his monster, for example.
So I would love a prequel.
Yes. About the Stitcher before he became the Stitcher, and then once he became the Stitcher. That'd be great. Yep.
That was, like, that's why I rated it a 4. Because I left the book and I was like, I want to know more about him.
Yeah, I agree. But Yeah, so that's Where He Can't Find You. If you want a nice little spooky read for your holiday season, for spooky season, highly recommend this one.
It's so good. It was so good. Definitely kept you
Yeah.
on the edge of your seat. So we recommend going and reading Where He Can't
Yes.
Find You.
By Darcy, was it Coates?
Yes.
Yeah.
Darcy Coates. Fantastic
And
YA
Darcy
author.
Coates.
Honestly. That was
Yeah. And if you find this, Darcy Coates, we would love a prequel. I would suck it up and read it.
real quick.
Yeah, I'd do it. But just give me a warning if it's going to be super scary, because I need to know.
Don't read After Dark.
There's Kylie's trigger warning. Don't read. Sometimes I can't even read Frida books after night because I get too scared. I have a very overactive imagination, you guys, okay?
Kylie gets a little spooked.
I do. I scare myself, like, on the daily, so.
But that's
Hard
it.
to believe that once upon a time, I was in a haunted house.
Well, that's it for this episode of Two Piece Potting. Go read Where He Can't Find You for a spooky time.
Start the spooky season out right, because it's a really good book, you guys.
Yes.
Oh.
Really good book. But thanks for tuning in to this episode of Two Peas Potting. Be sure to like and follow us on the Instagram and the TikToks.
Yes.
And like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts,
and Amazon Music.
Amazon Music. I knew I was missing one. And if you forget any of those, just go to our Instagram and we have our link tree on there. So you can
we have every link.
Everything. And
every
we post our
media link
episodes every week to our story, so you can find the link for those there as well.
Every Friday at 8 a.m. is when our episodes come out. Yeah.
And if you want to watch this episode, check us out on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we will catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.